High noon in Montana. Kayce Dutton's last stand in Y, Marshals.
Does a wellness check.
I'm going with a AI voice today. I'd like to know what you prefer, my voice or this AI voice. Personally, I like the AI version, as I think it adds a much more authentic tone to the video. Let me know in the comments.
Fitting already, cowboy.
On a death, this job.
You can't outrun your past. The wrong side of the fence can always find you. Building walls.
They're shields.
Personal agenda is always a service in some form of vengeance.
Well, Yellowstone's gone. Same for most of my family. And as for vengeance, day's still young. Let's go.
Not lacking ways to die in Montana.
The channel for westerns and more. A lone marshal walks the dusty street at high noon, while the town watches from safety. This isn't 1880, it's 2026, and the marshal is Kayce Dutton. In this heartfelt look at the new Yellowstone spin-off, Y, Marshals, starring Luke Grimes, we explore the show through the spirit of classic westerns, like High Noon and The Searchers. Big ratings on CBS, beautiful Montana scenery, and a quiet hero still living by the old code. For fans who grew up with real westerns and still love the Dutton family, this one's for you. Saddle up and join the conversation. If you enjoy thoughtful stories about honor, duty, and the changing frontier, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, is Kayce still carrying the Western spirit? Share with your fellow Western fans. Out here on the frontier, when the sun sits straight overhead and the clock strikes high noon, most folks find a reason to stay inside. They watch from behind the curtains. They whisper in the general store. They hope somebody else will step up. But every once in a while, one man buckles on his gun belt, steps into that empty street, and walks toward whatever trouble is coming. This story isn't set back in the Old West. It's happening right now, in 2026. And the man walking that lonely road is Kayce Dutton. Why, Marshals premiered on CBS this month and brought a lot of folks back to the television set. Over 9.5 million people tuned in for the first episode, one of the strongest scripted debuts in years. For those of us who grew up watching westerns on Saturday afternoons and Sunday nights, there's something comforting about seeing Kayce Dutton back in the saddle, even if the saddle now comes with a badge. Let me tell it the way these stories used to be told. Kayce was always the quiet son, the one who carried the weight of the ranch, the family, and the hard choices that came with both. After everything that happened on Yellowstone, he tried to walk away, sold the ranch, looked for peace. But some men aren't meant to stay on the porch when trouble rides into the valley. Now Kayce wears a U.S. Marshal badge. He leads a special team that brings law and order to the modern Montana frontier, using the skills of a cowboy and the discipline of a former Navy SEAL. He's protecting the innocent, chasing down fugitives, and trying to hold on to what's left of the old code in a changing world.
Let's go.
Not lacking ways to die in Montana. Explains a lot about you.
His son Tate is still part of his life. Old connections from Broken Rock return. And through it all, you can see the quiet struggle in his eyes, the pull between family and duty, between the man he was and the man the badge asks him to be. This show carries the spirit of the westerns we grew up with, the lone man who does what's right even when it's hard, the wide-open land that tests a person's character, the heavy cost that comes with wearing the badge or the brand. It reminds me of High Noon, where one marshal had to stand alone. It echoes The Searchers, where duty and family pulled a man in different directions. Of course, not every viewer sees it the same way. Some folks say it feels more like a modern law enforcement show, faster paced, with plenty of action. Others wish it had more of the slow, poetic feel of the original Yellowstone. That's the thing about any good Western. It stirs up conversation around the dinner table. And whether you love it or have some reservations, there's no denying the Montana scenery is as beautiful as ever, and Luke Grimes brings that same quiet strength we've come to expect from Kayce. At its heart, Why Marshals asks a simple but important question. In today's world, do we still respect the man who steps into the street when others stay safe on the porch? Do we still believe in quiet courage, loyalty to family and land, and doing the hard thing because it's the right thing? For many of us who remember when Westerns were a regular part of television, seeing Kayce Dutton still trying to live by that code feels like a small victory. The frontier may have changed, but some values haven't. If this show finds its footing and stays true to the spirit that made Yellowstone special, it could help keep the Western flame burning on network television for a new generation. Even if it doesn't get everything perfect, it's giving a lot of us something we've missed, a chance to watch a man of few words try to do what's right in a complicated world. So I'd like to ask you, friend to friend, when high noon comes and trouble rides into town, would you stand with the marshal? Or would you watch from the window? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. Are you enjoying Why Marshals? What do you think of Kayce in the new role? Do you think the old Western spirit is still alive on TV? If this story meant something to you, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your family or friends who still love a good Western. And subscribe for more honest conversations about the shows and stories that matter. Because out here on the frontier, the sun keeps rising every morning. The real question is whether we'll still have men and stories willing to meet it with courage when it does.
To conquer.
The channel for Westerns and more. If you enjoyed this video, hit notification to get my new videos. Check out my channel and Facebook page. The links are in the description below. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.